Welcome to the Friends and Rivals podcast.
I thought the game in Pittsburgh was good for the Rangers. They kind of gelled a little bit of the team with Trouba making a good clean hit. Even Billy said it was clean. But I got to give it to the Penguins fans, Bill. They were chanting Trouba's name all Sunday, going true every time he touched the puck. I thought that was very nice of all the Penguin fans.
Let's talk Devils and Islanders. Let's talk Penguins and Rangers. But let's not talk about Flyers, because they're a bunch of fucks, which no one can deny.
Don't try it till you've had it. This is episode 106 of the Friends and Rivals podcast. I'm one of your hosts. Joining me each week are
Steve. I don't think at this point we need last names anymore.
Bill Fougere. I'm proud of my last name. I don't know what the fuck to say.
So, of course. Yeah, go ahead. Be better than me.
I am.
Florida.
Yeah, of course. You too. Awesome.
I mean, it's only been our intro for 105 episodes. Well,
yeah, so do we have to keep fucking doing it?
Yeah.
No.
We only have 30 people listening
You've
to us
changed
a
up
week.
the intro since we started.
Well, who's that new person? We'll skip on the agenda. Who the hell is that in Pittsburgh? And how do you know her?
First of all, the new listener, his name is Roger, and we want to welcome Roger aboard.
Hello,
Roger
Welcome.
is married to Rita. I went to grade school with Rita. Grade school and middle school.
Wow. Rita.
Lovely Rita.
One of the nicest people you will ever meet. Very funny, but
Could she take your spot?
she met rude. She's a Penguins fan. So that we would have two Penguins fans and no Devils fans. So no, she cannot take my spot.
Why? So she said she's very funny and very. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out why would she know you in grade school? Why would she talk to you? Why would you stay in touch if she's so cool? I don't get it.
It's a fair question.
I was a nice guy back then.
You were is the operative word there.
Okay.
That's for goddamn sure.
So you didn't go into school going, why is everybody using fucking last names? We know everybody's last fucking name already.
No, I didn't really do that in school. No, correct.
Oh, okay. Well, then I would have kept in touch with you too.
God damn it, Roger. Welcome aboard. And you don't meet too many Ritas nowadays.
No. Yeah, no.
I love her Italian ices.
Maybe since the Italian ice pace, nobody wants to. I don't know.
I don't think I know a Rita. She may be the first Rita I have ever. Well, I haven't met her, so.
But now is Rita short for something though? Is that like another name that?
No.
No. Okay.
If memory serves me correctly, no, it is not.
I can't even think of a funny one right now.
I'm thinking back to first day of school when they would use your real name for attendance, and I do not believe I ever remember a different name.
So
that was shortened.
The teacher didn't say Margarita. Is Margarita in the house? Margarita? No, it wasn't that.
Margarita. Interesting.
I'm pretty sure her name is not Margarita.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive it's not Margarita. But what was entertaining though was this whole big city greens. What was it, Nick? Big City Greens? Is that what the name of the cartoon? So ESPN simulcast the hockey game between the Caps and Rangers tonight, and they did it on Disney Channel to a animated version. They took all the stats, all the speed of the puck placement, player tracking, all this stuff, and they put it in an animated form, and they with characters from the cartoon, and it was pretty fucking entertaining, I gotta tell you. And I love that the NHL is trying to do something to get more kids involved and watching hockey on TV. Look, it's another excuse for them to get ratings in another demographic, and I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I watched about a whole period of a game I didn't want to watch, and it was super entertaining. And then I love how they even showed like Kevin Weeks and whoever the announcer was in the green room with all the like, the green screen, like black suit, like with all the little, sensors all over it. standing in the middle of the room like it's an empty room, but when they show on the screen, they're just two animated people working, and they're just literally watching the game. They're watching the animated game and casting the animated game, so it's slightly delayed.
Yeah.
And you hear all the sounds you hear are from the actual game. So you hear the crowd like go right before some big happens. But it was so cool because it was like literally the exact game. Just some parts like get a little wonky when they're in close and stuff, but like it was really neat to watch and perfect for kids. I mean,
they did such
they
a those two announcers, Kevin Weeks and
yeah,
the other guy, I don't know his name, I'm sorry, but they did such a tremendous job on that broadcast. It was quite remarkable. So I really hope they do more of those things. I mean, we were talking, the referee was probably our favorite part. Every time he came in, he was a chicken and he dropped the puck and then he would turn into a puff of smoke and then disappear. But they had all like the vapor trails with the puck shooting, with the miles per hour behind the net on the ice. They did a lot of things that they really, I don't know if they can or can't do in real life. But it was just awesome. I don't think they could do the puck tracking that worked on Fox for a season or two, and that was kind of hokey.
Drew Carter was the other announcer. That was his
Drew
name.
Carter. He was fantastic. I give them a lot of props. It was excellent. The whole thing was excellent. I hope they do a lot more next year. I hope they do. They don't have any more scheduled for this year. It was just this one trial thing, I'm assuming, right?
Knowing the NHL, it's probably a one-off. They'll probably never do it again, but they really should do this quite a bit. So they actually had I was reading this that the voice actors actually did call-ins. So during the show, or during the whole thing. So they actually, it wasn't just like the two guys doing the casting of the show of the game. It's also they had actual voice actors calling in and running a script. So I don't know if they could do that every time. Maybe they could do it, more like frequently. But if the NHL is smart and they realize how good of a product that was. Yeah, I'd be interested to see. I mean, you're right that they could do this with other shows. That would be a really smart thing to do, like whole bunch. And I think what was really neat was like they would put in, we were talking about this before, they put in different characters from the show as the players, and they're like, Cricket gets a secondary assist on the goal, which is really cool because like I'm not we don't care about that, but like it was like the Simpsons out there and like Apu scored, and then Hank Ariza was like, oh, I scored the goal, I'll be like, great. I'm sure we could cancel
impressions with Nick already.
Yeah, it is.
Holy shit, that was great.
Devil's advocate
okay,
here.
come again.
Why not do it on one of the Saturday afternoon broadcasts instead of a Tuesday?
I couldn't agree with you more. But this, I don't know why they chose this particular game. It's a great question. But they've been planning this for like a month, so they certainly had a lot of time to prep for this, and I think they're going to have to do that. They have to have a lot of prep time in order for these games to get the scripts right.
So this was called the Big Green Classic or something, Big Green City Classic.
Right.
So maybe they're only going to do it once a year.
Oh, that would be a disservice to kids and hockey fans.
Yep.
Because it was great. It was really fucking awesome. We don't typically sit here on this show and applaud the NHL for doing anything. But this was a win for them, and they need to do more of these. And maybe they take it to different shows. Maybe they take it to I don't even know. I don't even know any other Disney cartoon shows anymore that are actually on Disney and not on like Disney Junior.
Says the guy who goes to Disney every.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I watch the fucking cartoons on TV. If it's not Mickey Mouse cartoons, I'm not going to watch it, or Donald Duck. But it was fairly entertaining. A better idea than what was brought to our attention today by Steve about. Now, you heard this on the Jeff Merrick show.
Well, it's something the Major League Soccer is doing, and then he said, "Hey, NHL, this is a good idea."
So the idea was for the higher seeded opponent in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs choose who they want to play. So obviously the 1 and 2 seeds would get to choose who they play in the first round and the second round of the playoffs.
Well, and first, second, and third seeds would all get to choose.
Wow. I don't know. Initially, I really didn't like it, and even giving it more thought later on, I still didn't like it. You're taking away that complete element of chance. That I mean, you're still going to get that element of chance, and the likelihood of the Bruins wanting to play the Penguins in the first round, it could happen. Although I think they're more likely going to play the Islanders.
You're fueling the lower seeded team, though.
You're not doing that anyway?
No, I'm saying you're giving them more fuel rather than just coming in, hey, you're the 8th seed. You're going to play the number 1 seed. No, now you're coming in. These guys chose to play you because they think they could beat you.
Disrespect. Give you that chip on your shoulder.
I don't know.
Disrespect.
I don't know. I'd rather just leave it to the element of chance.
I
Is it taking away from the regular season?
I honestly agree with you. I think this is something that's better left for those not 4 major sports.
Yeah, this
so
is like
in soccer, maybe it does. It is interesting because it draws a little bit more attention.
Yeah, it's a radical change, man, to the history of the game and what we've experienced. It's just, it may be too radical of a change for me personally, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel right by doing that. It doesn't. I get your points 100%, and I don't disagree with your points, but for me, it might be too much of a radical change. It might be like fucking advertisements heavily on the jerseys, like in Europe. That would be. I
don't think it's that bad in my book.
That would be a tough pill to swallow.
It's just not necessary in my book.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's as bad as each player becoming a billboard on 287.
You don't think it's that bad?
No.
I don't know. I know. I definitely wasn't a big fan of it.
Can you guess what I thought of it?
You loved it, Bill.
I want to hear Bill's take on the cartoon thing.
I don't think he got the chance to see it, but
Steve showed me a little bit of an extended clip.
I think he saw all he needed to see.
That it was the old Nintendo ice hockey, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hey, if kids like it, I mean, go for it. I got nothing against it. Why not do it? I mean, if you're not gonna do the regular game broadcast and it's only gonna be this, that's one thing. But if you got both, then screw it. I mean, why would I want to put an end to it? Let it go to the audience that wants to see it. I think that's cool.
What if instead of cartoon characters, it was all members of the band Fall Out Boy?
Versus Fall Out Boy versus Live?
They should cancel the entire NHL then. If the entire league should just fold if it comes to that.
I mean,
what's that?
You could have Neil Morris. Maybe better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that thing they do for the NFL on Nickelodeon? They simulcast a game on Nickelodeon, like slime games and stuff like that. This is something to combat that, I would assume, right?
That's just overlaying graphics on the game.
Okay, this wasn't completely turning it animated.
No, yeah. So it's a little. I would bet a little bit easier to do it week to week with something like that, where you're just saying, "Hey, put slime all over these guys."
I agree, but hey, they get used to it, and it's easy to do. Do more of them. Don't hold back. Don't do just one a year and make it like a showcase piece. Do a lot of them, and I love your idea, Steve, about doing it on the Saturday afternoon,
right?
So the kids are all in. They don't have to stay up until fucking 9:30 to see the third period or record it or watch it on Disney Plus. I think that's brilliant. So switching gears, look, it seems to me like the Eastern Conference playoff picture is starting to come into focus a little bit. And I know the Florida Panthers are kind of hovering there right below the Islanders, but unless the Islanders falter down the stretch, which there's no indication that that's going to happen. I think the way that things are right now, I think that's how they're going to shake up.
And you think that's the order?
I do. I think this is maybe there could be some movement up top, especially in the Metro now that, Carolina got that unfortunate news with Svechnikov. Easy for me to say. But I think there could be some movement up there. But I think it's going to be Pittsburgh Islanders 1 and 2, to be honest with you. Could a team like Buffalo sneak in? But man, it's 5 points now that they have to make up. And I know they got 2 games in hand on the Icelanders, but I mean, it's a lot of points to make up. It's a lot of points.
It is, but I mean, I'm probably going to touch on this a little bit later with when I cover my Penguins in around the Metro. But the fact is, the Penguins have been such a hot and cold team all season, where they go weeks for a time without winning a game, and then then they'll take 7 out of 9 or whatever they do. But I mean, that just leaves the door open, right? Because if this loss in Montreal that they had tonight is the start of a skid, they don't have that much elbow room in that race. That comfortable lead that they have in the wild card now could evaporate in about a week and a half. If they just shit the bed. So, and they have several times. So it just kind of depends on what kind of consistency they find down the stretch. I think the Islanders are going to be in. I think they're playing consistently well enough, and still have guys that should be coming back to help them. But if the Penguins crash and burn, Florida or Buffalo might be there to pick up the pieces, or even Washington.
I don't think Washington. I think Washington's now. I think they're now done.
I hope so, but I didn't want to.
But don't sleep on Montreal. Montreal has always been a team that skates hard and plays hard every night. And if you're not prepared for that, they're going to surprise you. And they surprised a bunch of people this year. So don't think that Montreal is just this because of their record and they're down close to the bottom of the friggin' league, that they're a shitty team. They're not. They try.
They're a play up to the competition team.
Yep,
definitely.
No doubt.
Oh, but that's not what happened tonight. Tonight was one.
Well, they jumped. They jumped out. But they jumped out to a big lead. Maybe that was because they were anticipating a stronger push and they just outskated them.
No, they weren't outskated. It was completely goaltending. The difference was completely in that. Montreal had a very good goaltending game. The Pittsburgh Penguins did not. That was a whole difference.
Was it the Montblanc? Was he the goalie?
Yeah, he did really well. Yeah, Penguins outshot him 43-22 and lost.
He's huge. 6-4. Yeah. He's huge.
Yeah, he was really good.
Mount
Blanc. Yep.
Mount Blanc.
Isn't that a mountain?
No, it's the Penn guy.
It's a pen. Yeah.
Ah.
They made a mountain out of it?
Yeah, believe it or
that?
not. There is. But I think and you know what? And I said this in our little text thread that we have going on. If the Islanders play Boston in the first round, I think the difference there is Sorokin, and boy, oh boy, I think the Islanders pull the upset.
That'd be
mark your calendars, everybody. Mark them Tuesday, March 14th, 10:01 p.m. Mark it.
Yep.
10:01. Tom, hot take.
The Islanders sure would give them a tougher time than the Penguins would. That's for damn sure.
But listen, as much as you and you're close to the vest with the Penguins, no matter who you play in any round in the Eastern Conference playoffs, you better bring it, because any one of these teams, even the Penguins, Bill, can beat anyone in the playoffs. Anyone.
Yep.
Don't care who you are.
Look at the Tampa. Tampa is probably going to be the 5 or 6 seed in the East after being in the Stanley Cup Finals 3 years in a row, winning 2 of the 3. I mean,
and they're going to have a tough time.
Listen, they're not going to have any. It's going to be tough. They're going to have a tough road, and that says a lot about the East. I mean,
Like if things go the way
wild.
that we think they're going to go and everything kind of stays with the wild card, Atlantic doesn't look like they're going to move any. I think that's the way they finish. But I think the Devils are going to take out Carolina now with this injury. I just think New Jersey's just too strong. But if you go into that series, you don't think the Penguins could beat the Devils?
No.
No.
I think that's the best. I think that's the best possible matchup for the Penguins to have a competitive series. If you're picking between the Devils, the Hurricanes, and the Bruins,
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying
the Devils' inexperience.
They're
not going to beat them though.
There are scenarios where the Penguins beat the Devils, Bill.
No, there's no.
They're 100% are.
You don't understand the Penguin team.
You're right, and maybe I don't, and maybe I don't. However, I do understand playoff history, and I do understand Pittsburgh has got a lot of playoff experience with those players, and they can pull it out.
That's why I think they might win 1 or 2 games against the Devils in the series, but they would get swept by the Hurricanes or the Bruins.
Listen, I understand that you have to feel that way, and I probably, if I was in your shoes, I would probably feel the same way.
Sure,
but
patronize me. That's I appreciate that. Act like I don't know what I'm talking about. Act like this is not the team.
I understand that you.
I never said that. I never said that. I never said that. I just understand that you have to feel that way, and that's fine. It's no problem. It's good for you. I stole Steve's joke. Sorry.
And ruined it.
What are you talking about? Ruined it.
Nobody laughed.
I laughed. That's all that matters. God damn it. When are you going to finally figure that out? It's 106 episodes already. All right, let's take a ride in the Metro. Sponsored by Nestle Quick.
Hello, boys and girls. Do you hate the taste of regular milk and need energy? Try Nestle Quick. One sip and you can feel the energy in your muscles. Nestle Quick, now available in chocolate and strawberry.
They say the real men drink pink. Then I'm a real man for sure. But if you like the brown, I still love you for who you are. Because it's time for acceptance of everyone, all preference. We're all quick on the inside anyway. Nestle Quick, it does the trick.
Didn't we just do that?
No. We're on the choo-choo, and we are starting with your 8 seed beating the Boston Bruins, New York Islanders.
I mean, you hear it first, Tom. That's pretty impressive. I'm not so sure I'm as excited about that matchup as you are, but I do think that the Isles will give anybody a run for their money in the playoffs. I don't think it matters who. Sorokin is good, obviously one of the best goalies in the league. And with Matty Barzal maybe coming back for the playoffs, that would be a big boon. But there's no real update on his status. But JG Pageau is playing tonight, first game back, 12 games missed, I should say. So he'll be making his debut tonight in a little over, I guess, a month in LA. And the game starts in about 25 minutes. I probably will not be up for that game. I'm gonna watch a little bit of it, but we'll see how that goes. I had some coffee before, but I don't know if I'm gonna make it till 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning watching that game tonight. We'll see. So anyway, Isles, they had a really pretty interesting week. First we had a win against here we go. Sorry, my notes all came out. Win against Buffalo last Tuesday. 3-2 win, game that was big, probably the biggest game of the year. Actually, the last two, that week, this past week was huge. Game at home against Buffalo, away game against Pittsburgh, and then the home game against Washington. start off the week by winning against Buffalo. Close game. Isles were playing really well. They started to look really good. It was the game where we had the third goal was a deflection by Fashing, which was a kind of a kicking motion. He looked like he was trying to stop the puck. It hit him in the shin and went in. And it was a pretty lengthy, review of the goal, but eventually they overturned it from a no goal on the ice to an actual goal, which I was pretty sure that wasn't going to happen, but somehow or another I thought they got the right call.
It was. I don't think it was a kick. I think it was more of a direction.
I do too, and I always have this is such a.
Does it have to go off of his foot in order to be classified as a kick?
This is why it's such a weird rule, and I don't understand that part of it, because you're right. Like if it goes off the foot, I get it, but why does it matter if it goes off like the shin or knee? Who cares? Like it's deflection. That's how deflections happen. So then it's like a whole Pandora's box of what's a deflection, what's not. Then so. I'm glad they went with the right thing. And when those things happen in like that split second, you guys all know, you've played hockey, you're not trying to kick it in typically. I mean, it's a few times you've actually tried to kick it in.
Or reaction.
It's a reflex. Yeah. Exactly. You're trying to deflect it down so you can hit it in or just knock it down. You're not really, typically going for deflection in that kind of mood. Anyway.
Yeah, but the NHL's got to smarten up and follow Billy's advice and just let them fucking kick it in already. Let them do what they need to do.
I agree.
I do with a high stick too.
Who cares?
Whatever puts it in. Let them knock it down with a high stick too.
No, I don't think you can do high stick, Bill. I think you're crazy. Although they have no idea what a fucking high stick is.
That's why though. That's why I say let them all in.
High stick is so easy. High stick is very objective. It's not like a kick. It's just let all kicks in. High sticks, obviously over the shoulder. That should be high stick. But anyway,
it takes just as much skill to knock the puck out of midair as it does to kick it in. So why not allow the high stick? And you got the penalty if you hit somebody with your stick accidentally. The penalty is there. True. There's a high risk reward, right? Yeah, and that makes sense. I like the idea, but I guess the problem they have is hitting people in the face. They don't want people swinging sticks. But you know what? Everybody wears a visor. After you mention it now, I kind of agree with you saying. I think that's a good point. It's a high risk reward. So it's mandated.
Well, it's mandated now, but not everybody wears one. But it's mandated for new players.
There's nobody left in the league that doesn't wear a visor.
Really?
What about Craig?
No, there are.
No. That was helmet guy, Bill.
I'm pretty sure Matt Martin doesn't wear one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Matt Martin doesn't wear one.
I thought that was done. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of McTavish.
Yeah, Ryan Reeves does. Ryan Reeves doesn't wear one.
Yeah, Reeves doesn't wear one.
All right,
I think it might be for new players.
Who are we losing out on if they get hit in the fucking face? Matt Martin and fucking Reeves? Really? That's who we're complaining about?
Shit. All right, get back on track here. So, Isles win a big game. They're obviously in the mix with Buffalo for the last spot in the East.
Can I add Tom Wilson to that list too?
You can add Tom Wilson. 2 nights later, Isles and Penguins play, and it was a game that Penguins dominated 2 periods and then shit the bed in the 3rd period, let the Isles back in. Isles scored 2 straight to get to OT and then won in overtime. Massive win for the Isles, getting 2 points. Penguins end up getting a point out of it, so it's not a total loss for them, even though Billy would probably say it was not a good loss to have in that kind of situation. I'm not going to go into too much into that game because it was honestly, I almost turned it off. It was one of those games where I'm just sitting there watching this game and just about to turn it off, but 2-goal lead is the worst lead in the NHL, and it happened. You need a goal. You got a goal, and then they were able to get that. If I remember correctly, they tied it in with the empty net. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we tied it up in the empty netter with a pulled goal, I should say. And Brock Nelson scored in overtime to win that game. And last game this week we had against Capitals, where the Isles shit the bed completely in a game where it was the most highest capacity in UBS so far. Full capacity. Place was packed. Isle scored on a pier. Engvall scored his first goal as an Islander. 5 minutes into the game, place was rocking, and then they let up a quick goal on turnover for Dylan Strom, and then they lost all momentum and they lost all the crowd. It was just quiet as a mouse in there, and Washington took the game over, just completely dominated the rest of that game. They scored 3 goals in the third, ended up winning 5-1, and it was just it was not pretty. That they just completely shit the bed. And the second period and third periods early on, it was like maybe they can come back, but like they just need a goal, get something going. Just nothing worked. They just couldn't get shit happening. They had 18 shots on net, and but they had 19 shots blocked. And they had something when they were saying on the cast, they were saying like they had missed something like 20 shots off. So they weren't blocked and they weren't on net. They had something like over 60 attempts on shots, but only 18 on net. Was you can't get that done. That's just in front of the biggest home crowd you ever had in the new arena. It was not great. So while they have 2 wins, 4 out of 6 points this week, they also played, I would argue, out of the last 6 periods, only 1 good period in the last 6 periods. So hopefully they can figure out, on the road trip they have this week, what's going on and kind of just adjust those things. This week coming up, we have tonight's game against LA, back-to-back with Anaheim tomorrow night, and then San Jose on Saturday. The California trip here, and I'm gonna have a hard time watching all those games. Saturday night game, maybe I'll probably end up watching the whole thing since it's at least a Saturday night, but we'll see. I was gonna say one last thing was Pierre Engvall scores his first goal, but I honestly am not sure where he fits into this team. Watching him play, he doesn't really have a physical part of his game. He's like 6'4" and he's pretty fast. That was kind of his billing, was he's a fast guy, got some skill, and I could see it, but I haven't seen where he's fit in this team yet. It's just one of those, every time we've gotten a guy, it's been like they all have the same kind of, trade deadline play or, any kind of trade we made. Like every guy's pretty much fit in. Pajot has that hard nose plus style. What's his name? Palmieri, same deal. He's gritty, scores touch. Horvat, just all around fantastic player. Does all the little things. But this guy, Engvall, I get that they were looking for somebody to kind of step in, and maybe he was like a cheap guy that, might blossom for the Isles or something, like that. But I don't see it yet. I don't know. He doesn't seem to have that kind of I don't know where he meshes. Like he just seems too soft of a player to fit in the Isles system at the moment. But they're moving around a lot. Team has had no consistency to any of the lines. So hopefully this, with Pajot back, we'll get some more semblance of an actual solid set of lines, and they can figure it out. But a lot of moving parts, and I'm not super sold on them completely being in the playoffs just yet. This is an important 2 games back to back. There's only 2 back to backs left for them this season. It's tonight and tomorrow, and then and then in April we have back to back with Tampa and Carolina on the road. So those are kind of the last 2, and then everything else is kind of spaced out. They should be able to kind of be able to just run through the rest of the season. I'm an idiot. There's actually one more back to back.
Christ.
I'm an idiot.
Nick. Show prep.
Columbus and Buffalo. Man, next week is Columbus and Buffalo. I can't see the things. Don't ask me.
You guys have the most back to backs out of our team.
Yeah, there's 3 left. There's 3 left. So anyway, that's the story of the Isles. We'll see how they play out. But Pajot's back tonight. Soroka and net. Hopefully a win.
And listen, for the Rangers last week, it was a lot of what we saw from the week prior. However, you saw in there a little glimmer of Igor starting to really get his game going a little bit. Look, against Montreal and Buffalo, I get the opponents, but we talked about Montreal earlier, and Buffalo scores seemingly at will against people. And the Rangers really held them in check defensively. And even the Pittsburgh game wasn't, overly offensively, one-sided by the Penguins. But the Rangers, 0 regulation wins in the last 7. They've held the lead for minutes in the past in those games, and in the last 3 road games, they still end up taking 5 of 6 points on the road. So they're still getting points. They're still moving up in the standings, and you're seeing the team starting. Maybe tonight was a good game for them against the Caps to kind of start turning that corner, especially on the offensive side a little bit. You see Kane, not being with Panarin the entire game, and he's moved on with Trocheck and Kreider, and I think there's a little bit more balance there. But the thing that has been troubling the most, and I said this last week, has been the effort. Even tonight, on a couple of goals by Washington, with bad line changes, and it was just effort of the new players who were fresh off the bench coming onto the ice, not picking up the trailing defenseman and scoring. And Lafreniere and Panarin have been the guys who you key on for this, and they need to pick it up. I saw Trocheck out of there's a number of guys just look sometimes lost out there, and Mikkola is playing out of position with Lindgren still hurt. They're being very cautious with him, which I'm good with. But Mikkola needs to be back where he belongs on the third pair as soon as humanly possible, so we can get Lindgren and Fox back together. And then the team will be whole. So tonight was certainly encouraging to see the offense gel a little bit, the power play click, and maybe they can build a little momentum off of this game tonight. Even though it certainly wasn't a banner game, one you put on the bulletin board watch of the correct things to do, but it was still a lot of positives coming out of this game. I thought the game in Pittsburgh was good for the Rangers. They kind of gelled a little bit of the team with Trouba making a good clean hit. Even Billy said it was clean. But I got to give it to the Penguins fans, Bill. They were chanting Trouba's name all Sunday, going true every time he touched the puck. I thought that was very nice of all the Penguin fans to cheer for Trouba.
That was a boo.
What? No, it was not.
It was a boo.
No,
they don't like that piece of shit.
The Penguins Ranger game on TNT was and I'm going to read this verbatim. NHL on TNT's Sunday's telecast of the Rangers Penguins was the most watched regular season game on cable since 2016. I don't know if that's good or bad. Apparently it's very good. Excluding opening night and outdoor games. Okay. So viewership is up 132% versus last season's comparable game. They have the Maple Leafs Sabres game they compared. Okay.
Who the fuck would be watching that game? Is this a U.S. audience even? I mean,
it's up 132% against every Condors game that was ever broadcast on ESPN.
Telecast is the most watched regular season game in the New York market since 2018. That was the Winter Classic between the Rangers and Sabres. And overall, the NHL on TNT's Sunday live game coverage season to date is up 42% versus last year. So
when it
good
against
job, TNT.
last year when it was historically bad.
I mean, it was their first year with it, so I guess. But really, what was on Sunday? Yeah, the players, right? But Scheffler was so far in front, it wasn't even worth watching.
The XFL,
the Oscars. That wasn't until nighttime, so there was literally nothing else on. but this game at 4:00. So good placement in the schedule for the NHL. Bravo to you guys. But tonight's game, you can certainly see the Rangers turn the corner maybe a little bit. Shesterkin's starting to play a little bit better, and the road doesn't get easier from here. But you get 3 home games this week, excluding tonight's game. 2 versus Pittsburgh back-to-back, which is, I've never seen this before in my life. Thursday and Saturday. That Saturday night game is an ABC national broadcast game. And then you got the Rangers at home against Nashville on Sunday evening. Bill, Penguins.
Well, the Penguins. So how can a team that's won 7 out of 10 be so goddamn frustrating? Well, they also won 7 of the last 14, if you want to go that route. Anyway, but they lost tonight to Montreal. As I was touching on earlier, just that game was lost in that Jari gave up 4 goals on 7 shots before he was pulled in favor of DeSmith. And DeSmith did a decent job the rest of the way, but the goal that he gave up, which was the game winner, was really not a good goal either. But he made like 13 out of 14 saves, and he was pretty solid there. But they just came up short. And if you go back a week from tonight, they were playing the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Jari was in net for that game. And after giving up 4 first period goals, or maybe I think the fourth was actually early in the second period, he got yanked from that game, and then the Penguins stormed back against the Blue Jackets to win that one. Their first time winning a game being down 4 goals since 2006. But again, it was just the Columbus Blue Jackets. But the team's skating well, but I really question how they're doing in net, and that's why I was blasting Hextall a week ago saying, we didn't do anything about the goaltending situation. I don't trust Jari. I don't trust whatever his physical issues are, and he's been inconsistent since he finally came back. And DeSmith, I've never liked him as the backup, and I felt like they really could have used a presence there in that, just maybe. I mean, where were they on the Jonathan Quick thing that LA was so desperate to give him away? I don't know.
Hey.
Well, do you really honestly think Jonathan Quick is a step up from Jari and DeSmith? Not this year, pal.
No, I know what his numbers were, but if that's what it came to, I would have took a chance on him. I mean, because Jari's inconsistent. I mean, I just want somebody who's going to be consistent in there. I know Quick wasn't always good playing with LA, but he's definitely a step up on DeSmith, and he could have been a veteran backup for Jari. But at any rate, they did win that Blue Jackets game. And then came that game against the Islanders last Thursday. Nick touched on that, blowing the. I texted all you guys after they played 2 sensational periods. I'm like, why can't these games just end at 40 minutes? And that was before the third period started. And obviously the third period, they played the entire period in their own end, never won a defensive draw the whole period. I mean, as soon as the puck was dropped in the defensive zone for the Penguins, I mean, the Islanders were on the attack. I mean, as soon as the puck dropped, and it caught up with them. And so another lead blown against a quality team, lost in overtime. Then they had the joy of playing the Flyers on Saturday. Fuck the Flyers.
Fuck the Flyers.
Fuck the Flyers.
Came up with a 5-1 win there. It was a closer game than the score sounds like. It was 2-1 until pretty late in that one. But they pulled that one off. Win's a win. And then they played the Rangers. And Tom touched on that game a little bit. That one was back and forth. Penguins had a couple leads in that one. Eventually won that one in overtime. On a power play, which came when on a very obvious trip by Panarin. I mean, Tom wanted to call out Malkin for diving, but
I was only making fun from that first dive. My God in heaven, it's like someone shot him from the bleachers.
I don't know if you feel like he embellished it or whatever, but that was also a very obvious penalty that allowed the Rangers to tie the game. A penalty that the referees missed on that one. Very obvious.
Yeah, the Malkin hit on Trocheck in the corner. You're right. Should have put the Rangers on the power play. You're right. because Malkin started that whole fucking shit.
I don't give a fuck who started it. I'm saying, but Malkin plays the puck, it's away from him, and then Trocheck trucks him in from the back, and that's got to be an interference call.
Honest to God,
and
I think if it was anybody, I think if it was anybody other than Malkin, the penalty would have been called.
Well, at any rate,
maybe there's a bias against
it was
him.
missed. It was a penalty. It was missed. It allowed the Rangers to tie. But having said that, it's not like the Rangers were not going to tie the game later on if they hadn't scored there. The Penguins can't protect the lead. If it might have came down to like an empty net thing or something like that, but it's not like the Penguins were going to win that game in regulation.
No, but you sit there and you shit on Jari, and you have every right to because of his inconsistencies. But maybe this is just a game where he played well because he did play really good against the Rangers.
He did. He's got his good ones and his bad ones, and I think they're all related to whatever the hell injury he's trying to deal with. His mobility is just not what it usually is. And you can see it tonight against Montreal. He just the way when Jari's on his game, he makes it look so effortless. He's just always in the right spot and the puck just hits him, and he's just not reading things, and maybe something's limiting his mobility, getting back and forth, moving left to right and so forth. So Penguins are in a good spot as far as the wild card goes. I think they're in a spot where they don't need to scoreboard watch, which is nice. They just need to count their points. They need about 15 more points. They got about 16 games to go. So that's a good spot for them to be in if they don't hit a major skid. But it's a tough road schedule coming up. They just finished a 5-game homestand with that loss to Montreal tonight. It was the only game that they didn't get a point in that homestand, and now they go to the Rangers back-to-back games at Madison Square Garden, then back home for Ottawa, and then out to Colorado and Dallas, which is going to be a hell of a challenge middle of next week. So
I think the Penguins get at least 16 from what I've counted. Right. I didn't even count the 2 Ranger games this week. Right. So Ottawa, you can probably go either way, but I'm giving that to the Penguins just because it's home. And they got Caps at Detroit, Nashville, Philly, Detroit, Chicago, Columbus. There's your 16 points.
It's there for the taking if if they play consistently enough, if they get enough goaltending, they should make the playoffs, but we'll see. So that's
New Jersey Devils.
It for the Penguins.
Started last week with a loss to Toronto, 4-3, and they played a good first period and then just a terrible second and a terrible third. They just gave them way too many wide open chances. They lost it late in the game. You can't leave Austin Matthews wide open in the slot. He's going to bury it every time. Followed it up with a 3-2 shootout win against Washington. Outshot him big time. Mercer stayed hot. Timo Meier took a late penalty, but redeemed himself with a shootout. The real headline here is this is the first time in NHL history that a team has iced 4 players from Switzerland in its roster. So that was pretty cool to have happen. They followed that up with a 3-2 victory Saturday against Montreal. They scored 2 in the first and just held on to the lead the rest of the way. Schmid was very sharp in net. And then Sunday, blank the Hurricanes 3-0. Again, another game where they got out quick and then just I don't want to say they played with the lead as in they sat on the lead. They just relaxed a little bit too much, and they were giving up odd man opportunities all throughout this game. They were giving up a lot of opportunities in the third period, especially. They didn't have a shot on net until the 12-minute mark. So they were just all of the play was in the Carolina zone. They did have Bratt on Hughes and Timo Meier's line. It helped a little bit. Timo and Jack just aren't gelling yet. And I don't know if it's going to happen. I think it might be time to put Timo on a line with Hischier and Tatar, and then move Mercer to the Hughes and Bratt line. The players in the postgame said that the game had a preseason playoff feel. So I guess terms of it was a playoff atmosphere, I think is what they were trying to get at, even though they're not going to meet them in the first round. Jack had his 27th multiple point game, which tied a franchise record. And then they followed that up with a real fucking stinker tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning. They scored first, and then Tampa decided to show the little kids how the game is played. I think that's exactly what happened. So hopefully they'll see this as a learning experience to see how a successful team can just come back and utterly dominate a game. New Jersey really didn't have any opportunities in the second or third. The rest of the week for them is Tampa at home. So again, another one of those crazy back-to-back games against the same team in the same location.
Unbelievable.
Doesn't make sense to me at all.
No.
So Tampa on Thursday, Florida on Saturday, Tampa again on Sunday in Tampa. So Tampa 3 times in 4 games. Again, if they win one of them, I think it's going to be a success. And I really think the success here is going to be having these guys see how teams that go on deep runs in the playoffs play the game. And now it's time for Trivia with Bill. Yeah.
Now this is the wrong Bill.
The first NHL All-Star game was held as a benefit for what injured star?
PK Subban.
No. The first NHL All-Star game was like a long time ago. Not like would have been
Wayne Gretzky.
Nope.
Gordie Howe.
He wasn't injured. Nope.
Sidney Crosby, because he's always
No.
injured.
He hasn't really missed that much time since like 2014, but okay. No.
What was the question again? Say it again.
The first NHL All-Star game was held as a benefit for what injured star?
Thomas Harkness.
No, it's collarbone. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, Tom just left. Tom
I didn't like that joke one
said,
fucking bit. Nick.
Tom had
He
enough.
said-
He's screw you guys. I'm going home.
Bobby Orr?
No, it was not Bobby.
Because he was always hurt, right?
He was hurt. His career was really cut short with.
Can
some
you
leg
repeat the
injuries.
question, please?
The first NHL All-Star game was held as a benefit for what injured star?
Rick DiPietro.
Ooh,
No.
good one.
Now there was an injured guy. Yeah, I would have all sorts of benefits for that guy. Nope, was not DiPietro.
Don Mattingly.
That he's
David
a baseball
Wright?
player. Another baseball player. No, it wasn't.
Kelly
Billy.
Lindbergh.
Bill Lumberg.
How Lumberg fucked her.
That was
Nick got it.
that wasn't an injured star that Steve said. No, yeah, it was not Bill Lumberg.
Oh, I drooled a little bit. That was great, Bill.
Eric Lindros.
No, often injured. No, not Eric
Bill,
Lindros. This was
Bill,
a long time ago.
Bill, can you repeat the question?
The first NHL All-Star game was held as a benefit for what injured star?
Everybody else asked. I was feeling left out.
And you say it was long ago?
Yes.
Long
Jean
like this is
time
when-
ago.
Jean
This is when
Rattel.
All-Star games. No, it was not Sean.
1970.
Lord
Broken
Stanley.
leg. Ooh.
No, not Lord Stan.
Stan Fischler.
Stan
Why?
didn't
He
play.
was probably alive.
He
Was it
broadcast that game.
Lord All-Star.
Is it,
Lord All-Star.
Conn Smythe.
That would have been,
What?
that would have been a wild.
Hold on. There's not enough laughs being credited to Nick right now.
Lord All-Star.
Lord All-Star.
Would that have been a wild coincidence if they named the game after that guy?
That is fantastic.
Ugh.
That needed to get its proper due, Nick. Well done.
You guys want the
Um,
multiple choice? I got to say this
yeah.
is hard.
No,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get this one. We're not gonna get this one.
Boom Boom Jeffrion.
No, not boom.
Bob Vaughn.
Nope. Are you just thinking of names that start with B now?
Now let's go with the multiple choice, please.
Multiple choice.
Real
Okay.
players, actually, that got hurt. Anyway, go ahead.
A is Kiss guitarist Ace Bailey. B, Silvio Mantha. C, Eddie Shore. D, Howie Morenz.
I got to go with the Kiss drummer or guitarist. Whatever the fuck he
That's
was.
the guy, Ace Bailey. You're correct.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God damn it.
Nice job,
Oh,
asshole.
There was no way it was going to be the dude from Kiss.
You ruined it. You
Let's do it
passed
again.
and I failed, you dick.
Let's do it again. I
You know-
can fail. I know it.
But this was, I actually read up on this one after hearing about that. I said, what the fuck was this benefit for? And this guy was convulsing on the ice after getting hit by Eddie Shore, another guy on the multiple choice list. So Eddie Shore apparently got trucked by King Clancy, got up, he was like a little bit dazed or whatever, was all pissed, took a run. He thought he was taking a run at Clancy. He ends up destroying this dude, Ace Bailey, who fractured his skull on the ice. And then somebody came over, a teammate came over and knocked out Eddie Shore, knocked him out with one punch. A guy named Red Horner.
One punch.
Came over and knocked out. So you got a guy with a fractured skull, another guy
they just recorded it last week.
I mean, and then they had an all-star.
You know what I'd like to see? A cartoon recreation of that incident.
Really? Yeah.
NHL, get
What's the
on it.
cartoon going to do with blood on the ice? That's
Disney,
what's.
get
Oh
on
man. You could just do like
We're gonna make little Ace's head bleed.
that.
So wait,
I think that was during Kiss's first farewell tour.
What's the guy's real first name? King Clancy? Was that his real first name? Was King, or was he like King of something?
Well, I don't know if that was a nickname or whatever, but he was called King Clancy.
It was King Clancy.
Francis Michael King Clancy. King Clancy.
So it was
So it was
his
a
nickname.
But he wasn't a real king. No,
That would have been much better.
as far as I know, anyway.
That would have been a lot better.
And now it's time for impressions with Nick.
fucking great. Ladies and gentlemen, the Friends of Bravo podcast. You're ready for the fastest 2 minutes of this Type 45 show. It's the 20 questions power play. Rules are simple. The group has 2 minutes to guess a famous player, coach, front office, or any famous person associated with one of the 4 Friends and Rivals favorite teams. The group can ask up to 20 questions in rapid fire. Answers will only come in the form of yes or no. The group will have to make a final guess once they've hit 20 questions or the power play has expired. If the group is successful, they win for the week and avoid shame for unable to win at a children's game. And away we go.
Is this person associated with the Devils?
No.
Person associated with the Rangers.
Yes.
You're on mute, stupid.
Jesus. Person associated with the Penguins.
No.
Is this person associated with the Islanders?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
for
Penguins.
fucking crying out
Penguins.
loud.
So is a Penguin
yes.
Ranger?
Yes, Isles.
So Isles, Penguin, Ranger.
Ooh.
Is it Darius Kasparidis?
No.
Good one.
Good guess.
Did this
Was it
player
Ziggy Palffy?
No.
Did this player play in the 90s?
No.
Did this player play in the 2000s?
Yes.
This player won a Stanley Cup with the Penguins.
No.
Awesome.
Player forward?
Yes.
Is this player
American?
American?
No.
Player Canadian.
Yes.
That didn't help.
Canadian forward.
Yeah, played in the 2000s. Peter Nedved?
Nope.
No, he was never an Islander. 90s anyway, too. Fuck. Did anybody ask if he was an all-star?
No.
Was he an all-star?
No.
Great. What fourth liner was it?
Yeah.
All right. We actually got to 2 minutes. All right.
Mm.
Final guess, boys. This is actually not as hard as you think.
Yes, it is.
Straka?
And Mr. Derek Brassard. Not quite an all-star, but definitely not a fourth liner. And he played for
fucking 1,000th game this year. Good for him.
Yeah. Rangers for 4 years, 2 years the Penguins, Isles with 1 year, so he kind of cheats a little bit there.
I would never remember he played for the Islanders.
Yeah.
Never in a million years.
11 for 17 now.
Mr. Brassard,
big game brass,
is incredibly has played for 10 teams in the NHL. The record is 12, held by whom?
Donald Brashear.
What the fuck? What'd you say, Bill?
Jaromir Jagr.
Who I would have said
Mike Sillinger.
Wouldn't have said Mike Sillinger.
That one took me a while to get around to.
Yeah, 12. He's got 12 now. Brassard's only 35. He
could get 2 more.
He's the only guy like on the list that's
if he's
really
willing to take league
close.
minimum, he's a good vet to add.
Yeah, he hasn't played for the Devils yet. He might as well do that.
Yeah, like Nate Thompson's too old and he's too far back. I think the only guy that's possible to do it is him for foreseeable future. But yeah, even Brian Boyle is he's 38 and he's done it 8 times, 8 different teams. So we'll see.
See, I think that's too old to get 4 more.
I would agree.
Yeah, and Brassard's played like all these teams he's played the last few years. It's like Ottawa this year, Edmonton previous year, Philly the previous year, Arizona previous year, and Isles previous year. So he's 1 year deals.
1 year deals, yeah.
It's just racked up really fast because he was Columbus for most of his career, then the Rangers. So for 10 years, 2007 to 08 to 15, 16, or not quite. It was 2 teams.
It was after he got traded in the Zibanejad deal that he really started going from place to place for sure. Because he never lived up to his contract and everyone was always looking to get rid of it.
Now he's a league minimum. He's just jumping around. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, let's go with this date and Steve's stomach.
Oh, that feels better.
This one's brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Right here, we're saving calories. Round here, we all look so lean. Round here, we enjoy Coke Zero, but sacrifice flavor, no. Round here, Coke Zero's the way to go.
This is going to bring us to the year of our Lord 2017. Please go to November 2nd. November number 2, 2017.
November 2nd was a Thursday. Special shout out. That's Silver's birthday. Belvita and water for breakfast.
Whose birthday?
Silver. It's Jimmy's stepdaughter.
Oh.
Belvita and water for breakfast. Moe's steak nachos for lunch with a Coca-Cola Zero Sugar straight from the fountain. Dinner was lemon chicken with veggies on the side and a can of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Why did you pick Thursday, November 2nd, 2017?
I'm actually shocked you didn't have this written down.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, me too.
That was the day that Tarion Pouncey, 19 years old from Chicago, shot himself in the penis after allegedly holding up a South Side hot dog stand. And he won't be going home when he's released from the hospital. Tarion Pouncey remained at the hospital recovering from his injuries Thursday, missing a bond hearing at the criminal courthouse on 2 counts of armed robbery. Pouncey was arrested at Oak Lawn Hospital not long after he was found slumped on the steps of a home across the street from a West Pullman restaurant that the Chicago police say he had robbed at gunpoint at 6 a.m. on Halloween. What fucking hot dog stand is opened at 6 a.m.?
It's
That's
Chicago.
a great question.
They
Wow.
love their fucking hot dogs.
Hold on.
man.
I get that, but did he have like breakfast hot dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any breakfast
You
hot dogs and you're fucking starving.
No.
Do you know where they get them from?
New York.
Abe Froman.
He is the sausage king of Chicago. He certainly is. Pouncey was unable to run further because of the pain of the self-inflicted gunshot wound suffered when he tried to adjust his 38 caliber pistol in his waist as he ran off after robbing the Maxwell Street Express at 116th and Halstead Avenue.
He pulled a Plexico.
Yeah. Well, at least Plexico shot himself in the thigh, not in the dick. My God.
Yeah, really. Big difference.
I mean, he shot the Giants in the dick that season. So I mean,
oh my, did he ever? Holy crap. Pouncey pulled out his gun and demanded cash from two employees, pressing the gun to the head of a 9-year-old worker. The victim, who had been passing a bucket filled with grease over the counter, called for his coworker to hand over the cash at the register. As they passed their wallets and a stack of singles to Pouncey, the bucket tipped and the bills went flying. They got grease all over the dollar bills. Still pointing the gun at the workers, Pouncey stooped over to collect the cash, shifting the gun in his waistband as he ran out. He apparently pulled the trigger, firing a bullet that struck him right in the pecker.
Time's a creep. Time is a weirdo. Where does he come up with the shit? It's so disgusting.
That's probably the grease got on his hands from that whole big spill and just trying to handle the gun. That's not a good combination.
Or he's trying to hold this hot dog with all this shit falling out because Chicago, so they don't have good hot dogs. So he's putting so much shit on
everything on it. Yeah.
So he's dropping and he's like, and drops his gun and shows himself in the dick. I mean, now it seems accurate. What else could it be?
Do you suppose
you know what though? You know what I think we're missing here is the dedication of the workers to not stop working while you're being robbed.
Those are some good workers.
They deserve. This is like an episode of Law and Order where in the beginning they're going around trying to get all the information, and none of the people that they ask stop working to help the police.
Well, if they're the kind of people who have that work ethic, like they're going to be open at 6 a.m. with their hot dog stand, then obviously these guys are worker bees. I mean, no question.
I don't think I've ever seen a hot dog stand with 2 employees as well. I mean, that's
yeah. That's just there's a lot of this story that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, unless they're that busy that they have to get one guy just chopping, making stuff, and the other guy doing all the stuff at
6 a.m. on Halloween, Nick. They're busy.
But at 6 a.m. on Halloween, 6 a.m. anytime. No one's eating hot dog at 6 a.m.
Also, wait a second. Why did it take the police 2 days to catch this guy?
Well, this was when the report was in the Chicago Sun-Times.
Okay. Is there really that much going on in Chicago that this doesn't make the paper the next fucking day?
It was Halloween. The next day is the first. They didn't find him until when? It said in here, didn't it? Police arrested Pouncey was arrested at Oak Lawn Hospital not long after he was found slumped on the steps. So he was arrested on Halloween.
Right.
So this hit the paper. Yeah. They it should have been the paper the first.
Should have been in the that's what I'm saying.
The paper the first. All right. So there was 1 day delayed. Maybe something else happened in Chicago, November 1st.
What, a fire? Was there a fire?
No, that happened many moons ago. Many moons. You know what it was? They were too busy covering an Ohio man fucking a pool float. That's what it was.
I don't think that was the same day.
That was the same. All right. That's gonna just about do it for us. Don't forget to follow us on the Twitter at friends_rivals, Facebook, YouTube, Friends and Rivals Podcast. Be like Rita. Drop us a line. We love to hear from you. Turn on notifications for our podcast so you never miss an episode of the Friends and Rivals podcast. Billy, say something witty.
Got something much better than wit today. I have a Friends and Rivals contest. You want to win something? Listen up. You guys want to win something?
Yes, I do.
You could win. You could win the Blu-ray Transatlantic, the final flight live at Olympia. I'm giving away a Blu-ray.
I got to mow the lawn, Bill. I'm sorry.
Tweets us at friends_rivals and says, I want my transatlantic. Come on.
Good one.
Yeah, man.
Tweet
hashtag Coke Zero Sugar.
We're going to
add Friends and Rivals.
We have 5 followers on Twitter.
Maybe we'll get
this is going to make it explode. Are you kidding me? This is transatlantic. This is for real.
Right.
4 of them are the hosts.
You have to tweet. You have to tweet us, and you have to follow us in order to get this.
We're going to lose followers because I'm going to unfollow the account because of this.
Oh, that's not. It's really good.
It's it's a Blu-ray, Steve.
Yeah. Where am I going to watch it?
You don't have a laser disc player?
A laser disc player? No, I don't have a laser disc player. You're absolutely right.
They're as big as the room.
You don't have a Betamax?
It's a CD player, Jules. It doesn't play albums. It plays CDs.
Was it HD CD? What was that? The rival?
HD DVD.
HD DVD. There you go.
Was the one that lost out.
Listen, Billy, before you sing us out, I do have to give, and I should have done this earlier, and I'm sorry I did not do this, Ryan, but I got to give a big shout out to my son, Ryan, who I took golfing with me on Sunday, and he recorded his first legitimate par. It was on a 110-yard hole. He hit hybrid, and he had a 2-putt, and it went in. The group behind us cheered for him. It was a wonderful moment for him and myself. I was very proud of him. And congratulations, big guy. Proud of you.
Help drive.
It was. He beat not only me, but my nephew, who was a legitimate golfer. He beat us both on that hole legitimately. 3 to 4s.
Wow. Fantastic. There you go, Ryan.
Big props to Ryan.
Nice job.
Big
Get rid of that fucking hat.
All right. Billy, sing us out.
Oh, my friends and rivals. Flyers fuck, flyers fuck, flyers fuck off. Flyers fuck, flyers fuck, flyers fuck off.
Kid wears a fucking Phillies hat just to piss everybody off.
I wasn't pissed off.
How are you not? It's a Phillies hat, Nick.
It wasn't a Flyers or an Eagles hat.
Doesn't matter. It's the whole fucking city. Can go suck a dick.